Hey, it's me again. Today we're talking about the truth about Shark Tank. Some fun facts that you probably did not know. So, back in the day when I first started making soap, I had all these grand ideas, and this is, of course, before the modern version of NH Co. Botanical. This was years ago, like 10 years ago or so, or actually a little bit less than 10 years ago. And a lot of people, they would see what I was doing and they're like, you should go on Shark Tank. Like, it's just so easy to just get on Shark Tank. This is Nikki. Is Mark there? Okay, yeah, I'll hold it for a second. Yeah. Hey, Nikki. Yeah. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah, you know what? I'm having dinner with the family. Why don't you come by maybe tomorrow around noon or so? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I want to be on the show. What about next season, first episode? Does that sound good to you? Yeah, go ahead and do that. We'll do next season, first episode, bypass everything. You have to apply to get onto Shark Tank. People are, and I know people aren't, trying to be like that on purpose, but people are really like, just go on Shark Tank. You should be on Shark Tank. Well, let me give you some statistics. So these are from 2017. So they say about 45,000 people apply every season. About 1% of those people, which is 450, so 400 of that 45,000, about 450 get to actually pitch their ideas. And of that 450, only about a handful get to pitch their ideas on TV, or they make it onto TV. So a handful, So another statistic is, you see the people on there and it looks so cool and they get the deals. Well, only about 1 out of 5 of those deals that are made on TV actually go through after filming. So most of those don't even go through. 20% of them go through. That's a really low amount. One thing back in the day that I learned about, after a lot of people were like, you should go on Shark Tank, you should go on Shark Tank. I actually went to their website and I looked at their form to see, okay, what all does it take to get onto Shark Tank? Well, obviously you have to fill out a form. They have to know about your business. Nothing sketchy about that. They need to know who you are. They need to know your website, social media, stuff like that. They need to get a gist of your business. One thing that they used to do, and allegedly they don't do it anymore, I learned some 8 years ago or so that if you make it onto the show, you don't have to make a deal. If you get onto the show, whether you make a deal or not, you would have to basically agree to give the investors of Shark Tank a percentage of your company or your revenue, whether or not you made a deal. So in order to get on the show, you had to agree to give away a portion of your business. So even if you left empty pocketed, you've given away like 5% of your business, or I want to say is like 2% of your revenue forever or whatever. Something that has not changed with Shark Tank, and I actually looked at this the other day. So at the end of, and you can go look this up yourself, I'll put a link in the description below. So after you've filled out their form, at the bottom you have to click like the agreement, and I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to basically interpret what that means to me. Okay, it says, by making a submission, you acknowledge and agree that you are making a submission solely for the purposes of being considered by FinMax LLC, Sony Pictures Television Incorporated, American Broadcasting Companies Incorporated, and their respective affiliated or related entities, collectively Shark Tank entities, to be a participant on Shark Tank and will not receive any compensation or credit for making a compensation. It's reasonable. Basically, you agree that you are making a submission solely for being considered by all of these companies to be on their show. Nothing crazy about that. That's to be expected. And then in all caps, by making a submission, you are accepting and agreeing to the casting crane terms of use. I don't see what the casting crane terms of use are in this. So you really don't know what you're agreeing to. It just says that you agreed to these casting crane terms of use, but there's no definition of what those terms of use are. You understand that your email submission is not confident nor submitted in confidence or trust, and no confidential or fiduciary relationship is intended or created by making an email submission. Okay, this part's kind of getting a little concerning. It's saying, you agree that it's not confidential, which I get that it's not confidential. It doesn't have my social security number. It doesn't have, anything that I don't want just anybody to have. I get that part, but it's just kind of concerning that they put that in there. And no confidential or fiduciary relationship is intended or created by submitting this email. And it goes on to say, you understand that the Shark Tank entities are diversified companies. Here we go. You understand that Shark Tank entities are diversified companies who may possess or come to possess information similar or identical to information contained in your email submission, and you agree that any such similarity or identity shall not give rise to any claim or entitlement, whether for compensation, credit, or otherwise. To me, that sounds like I interpreted that as after you send this email, it could go to anybody, and whoever comes across this information may or may not come up with a company similar to yours. I don't care how long you've worked to develop this idea, how long you've worked. I don't care if you put a HELOC, took out a HELOC on your home equity line of credit to fund your business. Someone may or may not come into possession of the information that you gave us on this questionnaire, and they may or may not come into develop a business similar or identical to yours. That's a bit scary. And you basically agree that you're not going to sue them and that you're not going to get any compensation and you're not going to get any credit. That's really concerning. And this is still on their website. You can go look yourself. By making a submission, you hereby release the Shark Tank entities and their respective directors, officers, shareholders, employees, licensees, assigns, and successors from any and all claims relating to your email submission, including without limitation, arising from the risks of misdirection or misdelivery of your email. I feel like they're telling you right off the bat that if you have a real good idea and one of our investors like it, they may steal it. That's what that sounds like to me. You can interpret it yourself how you want to, but that's what that sounds like to me. It sounds like you are submitting this information to them in hopes that you're going to get on TV, that you're going to make a deal with one of these sharks, and that you'll leave with a deal, or if you don't leave with a deal, at least you've gotten that exposure on TV. So here is another side that I actually know about somewhat personally, not for something that I've done, but one of the businesses that I actually followed when I first started out. They were a really unique soap company, I want to say out of Austin, Texas, and they were on Shark Tank. And I didn't know about them being on Shark Tank until after the fact. They posted it on their website. So they were on Shark Tank. They allegedly made a deal with I guess Kevin or somebody, I don't know. They made a deal, and after the show, they reached out to him several times, and they never got back to him. And finally, after some period of time, they said, oh, well, he's not going to go through with the deal. Mind you, they've been on this show. It was a great company. They were already doing pretty well, but of course they were trying to further their business. And so they got a lot of exposure. So they got a lot of business from being seen on Shark Tank. And after the shark fell through with his deal, they ended up essentially going out of business. And that's the end of that story, because they had so much business that came from them being on TV. They did not have the money to be able to handle all of those orders that came in, and they basically ended up going out of business. And so that's really unfortunate. I did a little research, and I saw that Mark Cuban said, oh, well, most of the sharks actually back out of the deals, not us. I think he said like 90% when the deals fall through after the show, 90% of those are because like the business owner backed out. And honestly, I don't know if I believe that or not. But who knows? I don't know. I'm just a lowly small business owner. But those are some things about Shark Tank. Yeah, it's great, but there's a lot of caveats to Shark Tank. It sounds like a good idea, but I also feel like it's really risky for that small business owner that has put everything into their small business, and then they pitch their idea. And then there's that chance, you just always have that chance of one of those investors taking your idea. So that's what I have learned about Shark Tank. I'm always curious to see if anybody else has learned anything from Shark Tank. There's a few businesses that I follow on Instagram that have been on Shark Tank. They didn't get a deal, but they seem to do fairly well after the show. It doesn't, like one of the businesses, they seem to be doing okay. It doesn't look like they just blew up just from the looks of it, but it seems like they, got some steady business from being on Shark Tank a few years ago. But if you have heard anything about Shark Tank, any juicy gossip or anything that you think is interesting, comment below. I would certainly love to read what other people think about Shark Tank, any things that they've heard, anything from businesses that they've seen who have been on Shark Tank, and we can possibly make another video, a follow-up video on the truth about Shark Tank. So don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you know when another video is uploaded. Thanks for watching, and see you next video.